What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Joe, the Juggernaut Joyce. Joe Joyce wants to glass cannon Anthony Joshua. Joe Joyce says he wants to fight the glass cannon Anthony Joshua if he successfully defeats unified heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk in their rematch next Friday, August 20th. He says glass cannon because he's fragile in terms of his chin and stamina. According to Joe Joyce, the 32-year-old Joshua hasn't looked the same since he was beaten by Andy Ruiz. For Joyce to get a potential chance to fight Joshua or Usyk, he needs to defeat Joseph Parker on September 14th and the AO Arena in Manchester, England. He says, I think the big one was Ruiz because before that point, he had an air of invincibility that nobody could beat him, said Joe Joyce. He said he's got such offensive power and he seems like he had a good career up until then. But then the way he lost to Ruiz like that, it definitely changed people's opinion. Also, with the rematch with Andy Ruiz, where he came out and there was no offense. He was on the back foot, just winning it with the jab. Ruiz didn't want to come in the best shape in the second fight too, so that might have had an effect. That's cleared people's goggles rather, from the haze of Joshua like mist or something. What I say is that he's a bit of a glass cannon. When he's offensive, he's got great offense and power, but on the defense, his chin has been checked a few times with the Klitschko fight and obviously the Ruiz fight and even the Dillian White fight. It shows he can be hurt, but then he got great offensive power. I think that's a great fight, and one that I want, especially if he gets past Usyk. Joshua is the man that I want. Also, his engine as well. I think he was happy with Usyk where he got to the 12th round. I guess it showed that he can do that. I'm ready to fight Joshua right now. I'll see how this fight, Joshua and Usyk, goes on. I'll definitely be trying to avenge my defeat in the amateurs, said Joe Joyce. Let me counterpunch. I see this as merely Joe Joyce keeping his name out there. That's how you do it. Wilder did it. Fury started it. And everyone else's began to follow on the way through. See, Joe Joyce knows that he was defeated by Joshua and Usyk. And if I'm Joe Joyce, I would rather fight Joshua than Usyk. Why? Because Usyk's trickier. He's been in there with Usyk. He thinks the gas tank is going to do it along, but you're fighting someone else with a good gas tank. So if you're fighting someone else with a good gas tank that boxes better than you, that you can't knock out, well, you may be in trouble by default. Why? Because Joe Joyce is a guy you might not can stop him. I believe he is a juggernaut. I think he is a freak of nature. I think he has one of the best chins in the business right now. But I don't think if he could beat Alexander Usyk like that. And I think he's banking on Joshua winning. For one, it's more money. For two, it's an easier fight for him to win. And for three, it's a way for him to get revenge. So, and also, if Joshua beats Usyk, he doesn't have to worry about Usyk, and nobody else does either. And that goes for Fury and Wilder and the rest of them. And that's what makes boxing so fickle, because you don't, like, it's all or nothing. If you lose, you're out. Those possibilities of you fighting certain fighters are out as well. That's the problem. But for Joe Joyce to keep talking about Anthony Joshua on a personal level, it just shows you that he's still pissed off about those leaks of footage that Joshua was pretty much, handling them. You know what I mean? And I think that got to Joe Joyce, and I think he felt disrespected because these guys put that out without his consent. But I mean, you don't need consent to something that's personal or public like that. And that's an amateur fight. People go to see those fights. They're amateur fights, right? So I think he felt some type of way like they were trying to make fun of him. That's why I think he's been wanting Anthony Joshua, because he thought Joshua was a friend. But guess what? They're not friends right now, are they? And Joe Joyce wants to take down the glass cannon. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Joe Joyce calling out Anthony Joshua stating that he wants to take out the glass cannon. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!